Between the years of 1933 and 1945, a total of 18 million Jews were sent to death camps. Of these 18 million, almost 11 million died. There were 13 main Nazi death camps where prisoners were sent. The life in these camps was anything but enjoyable, and many people died before they were even sent to the gas chambers. But what people don't know is there were many unknown things that also happened in the camps. What many people don't know is that there were orchestras inside of the camps. The orchestras were used as propaganda. For example, musical performances were used to keep the outside world blind to the real purpose of the camps and make things seem much better than they were. The orchestras were also used to trick unsuspecting prisoners on arrival or when sending them to the gas chambers. Some Nazis even thought that having orchestras would enhance their own entertainment. When the Nazis would perform tedious jobs, the orchestra was there to distract them from their work and make it seem easier. The orchestras were also used to obtain prestige over the other camps. For the prisoners in the orchestras, they had a much more enjoyable experience than the other prisoners. They were treated better, they had cleaner housing, and they received better food and clothing. They were much more privileged compared to the other prisoners, which allowed them to survive while the others perished. The musicians who played in these orchestras were chosen at random. They had to be good at playing music, but there were some prisoners who went unnoticed and were not in the orchestras. This is now known as the grey zone, because nobody knows why some musicians weren't picked and some were. They were forced to work grueling workdays and long hours, even though they had less physically demanding work. The orchestras were used in the daily life of the camps for roll calls, counting prisoners, marching to and from work, executions, speeches, private concerts, and even outside of the execution chambers. The music they played ranged from marching songs to classical music, depending on the occasion. A specific example of an orchestra is the all-women's orchestra of Birkenau. This orchestra is well documented by several different memoirs, one of which was written by Fania Fenelon. In her book, she described her experiences while being in an orchestra. Fenelon said that even though she had clean clothes, daily showers, and a good food supply, she had to play for hours on end and watch thousands of people march into the gas chambers while she knew exactly what their fate was. But even though it seems like the musicians had it easy, they too were the subjects to death threats. Fenelon said that when they were threatened, the musicians would play like they didn't know they could, because their lives depended on it. The musicians were performing tasks like everybody else, and if they weren't performing up to the Nazi standards, they too would be gassed. The musicians were also put in the difficult position of offering pleasure to the Nazis. Fenelon said that she hated herself at the thought of giving them pleasure. There was also a much darker side of being in one of the orchestras. The suicide rate among the musicians was the second highest of all the camp workers. A lot was demanded of the musicians, and they had to play regardless of what the weather was like. The orchestras were ordered to perform on holidays, such as Hitler's birthday, and when new prisoners arrived to the camps. They also performed when new arrivals were sent to the gas chambers, the sick were separated from the healthy, and even when the rebel prisoners were executed. The musicians were forced to watch helplessly as friends, family, and fellow Jews were murdered, which is why the suicide rate was so high. Thousands of amazing musicians entered these death camps, and nobody ever noticed their talents. There was no true system that one could go by to decide who played and who didn't. It was all luck. For everyone who entered the camps as a prisoner, survival was one of the top priorities. By playing music, these inmates were able to do that. But it came with a big price. They literally played to stay alive every day. The musicians and other surviving death camp members have been given a lot of criticism over the years, because none of them ever tried to prevent the killings. Most of the survivors even judge themselves because they know they could have done something. But even though this criticism exists, nobody truly knows what lengths a human would go to survive.
Germans have destroyed very many things. But how can you even think that they could destroy music?
Theresienstadt. When we were in a very difficult situation and we knew in the evening we will play, this fact gave us hope, and more than this, we were dear to God.
Our job was to play marches. All day long, from morn till night, play. The people who were alive in Auschwitz-Birkenau marched out every morning to work and came back in the evening. And we had to sit at the gate and play marches. So everything is neat and tidy, like the Germans like it. It was extremely helpful in every way. First of all, that was logical that they won't put in the gas chamber if they want music. And we were so worried about playing the right notes. You know, it took our mind away from if you looked out of the window, you saw the smoke.
מותר היה לשיר, אז תמיד אחת עמד בחוץ ושם לב אם בא איזה גרמני, אז התחלנו לשיר. ברגע שהיית על במה וראית שמה שיש גלידה שאת בכלל לא יודעת מה זה, או חלב וכלף ובית ספר ופרחים, דברים יומיומיים נורמליים היום, אז שמה זה היו השעות שנתנו לנו, כאילו החזירו לנו נורמליות או חיי של ילדות.
היה אז גרמני והיה מנגן עם מהפוכית. ואני התקרבתי. אמרתי לו, איך בסר ודיה, אני מנגן יותר טוב ממך. אבל כך תנגן. מצא חן בעיניו, נתן לי חתיכה לחם, ושוב פעם המשכתי לנגן. אני השרתי להם שיר בגרמנית, והם צחקו מזה. Es geht alles vorüber, es geht alles vorbei. Mein Mann ist in Russland und seine Welt ist frei.
If you are a musician and you play music, you are very blessed.
איפה שהלכתי הייתי שר. איפה שהלכתי הייתי מנגן. היו נהנים מהשירים, אז יכולת להגיע לעוד חתיכה לחם, לעוד מרק חם.
ברגע שאת שרה את ורדי רקוויאם, בוודאי שלא חושבת על זה שאת רעבה או שמישהו חולה על ידך או משהו. את שרה את ורדי, וזה פשוט נהדר שזה מתאפשר.
We got punished if we played the wrong note. I mean, mad. Here they're burning people and we have to play a right note. We were just Jewish swines, nameless, just as numbers. I think it gave us some sort of inner dignity to play well.
נעזרתי מהשירה, מהנגינה.
You know, thinking back, it was a lifesaver.
Music, in my opinion, is the most beautiful thing coming out of mankind. Even when you are in state of dying, it helps you.
זו הסיבה שנשארתי בחיים.
It was fantastic to hear music for seconds. You could get yourself out of where you actually were.
אין חיים בלי מוזיקה.